All right, we are live. We are live. We are live. Hey, listen, guys, this is Jim Collier. And in today's stream, I'm going to be talking about an experience that I had this weekend with my son at a car dealership. And we're titling this Beware of Predatory Lending. Beware of Predatory Lending. And so I want to set this up for you. My son has been doing some research, and we've been researching for the last couple of weeks on a vehicle to purchase. The truck that he was driving, the transmission has gone out, and so it was time for him to get a new vehicle. And so he's been very, very diligent and has listened to me over the last several years about his credit. So when he entered into college, when he was 18, 19 years old, the first thing that I did is I made him an authorized user on two of my credit cards. So he was an authorized user on two of the credit cards. We then went out and got him a credit builder bank loan. So we went out and got a loan from the bank for him to start rebuilding his credit. And then we went and got two unsecured credit cards. So he has a Capital One and he has a Chase Bank credit card. Both of those credit cards are unsecured and they both have a $10,000 max on that card, their limitation on that card. And then he has a few student loans. So he's been doing very, very well with his credit. I've taught him to use the credit card, put gas in the car, go buy you something to eat, but pay it off. And he's been using the card and paying it off, using the card and paying it off. Well, he has about a 756 credit score. That's his credit score, 756. And so I tried to get him to get a slightly used car because of car depreciation and those types of things. But he wanted a brand new car. And he's been doing very, very well, and he's working, and he's doing all the right things. And so who am I to stop him from getting a new car if that's what he wants? I explained the whole depreciation thing, but he still wanted a new car. And so we decided that we were going to do the research on this vehicle. We did the research, and to make a long story short, we live on the north side of Atlanta. And the vehicle that he wanted, the color, all of the things that it had, we were having a very tough time finding that exact vehicle. And my point was, if you're going to buy a car, let's not settle. Let's get exactly what you want. So we finally found the vehicle that he was looking for. We had been to several dealerships. We finally found the vehicle that he was looking for, but it was on the south side of town. And so on Saturday, we went down to the south side of town. We test drove the vehicle. It was what we wanted. We got the price to the price point of what we wanted. But when we got to financing, they asked me if I was going to co-sign for him. And I said, no, there's no need for me to co-sign for him. He's got good credit. He's going to stand on his own 2 feet. We've been teaching him this for the last 3 to 4 years, getting him prepared for this. So they ran his credit and they came back with a 22% interest rate for a 22-year-old who has a 756 credit score. And I almost lost my mind. I was shaking. I was shaking that I was so angry, right? And so they came back with a 22% interest rate, and the other offer was a 9%. And so the 22% interest rate, they dropped the price of the vehicle a little bit, but 22% interest. And so I told the young salesman, because the salesman was young himself, I said, listen, this is an insult. This is crazy. We're not going to finance at 22%. We're not going to finance at 9%. And so he took that back to the finance manager. The finance manager came back to his desk, and the finance manager began to explain that, yes, my son has a great credit score, but it's more than just the credit score. he began to explain that my son had 2 authorized users on the card, which was not that's great, but that's inherited credit, right? He explained that my son had a secured credit card, which he didn't. He does not have a secured credit card. And then he explained that the reason why it was 22% was because my son had never purchased anything of a large value, like a vehicle. And so they were charging 22%. I was about to lose my mind. I was about to lose my mind with them. And so I told him that there was no way that we were going to buy this vehicle at 22%. I'm not going to buy it at 9%. And that it just wasn't going to happen. And so at that point, they told me that they had not really ran his credit through the banks yet. So that was trick number one, is that they ran his credit to see what his score was, but the offer that they gave us for an interest rate, that offer was based on what their guesstimate was. Okay, so that's something that you've got to be careful of. And so when he went back to run it through the bank, he brought me back one offer from the bank, which was with Capital One, and that offer was at 8%. And so he goes, well, see, we were close with the 9%. You got Capital One is 8%. And I looked at him and I said, listen, from salesman to salesman, if this is all that you have, the best that you have, I got no problem. There's 20 other dealerships in Metro Atlanta that have this vehicle. I didn't let him know at that time that we were searching for this particular color, and they happened to be the one of maybe 2 dealerships that had that color. But I let him know that there are 20 other dealerships that we can go to give our business for that day. And so I had my son get up. And so before we left, he says, well, what interest rate are you looking for? And I looked him in his eye and I told him this: it's not my job to tell you what I'm looking for. It's your job to give me the best that you have. And then I'll let you know. So see, you don't tell them what you're looking for, because if you tell them what you're looking for and they've got better, they're not going to give you the best. They're going to give you what you're looking for. So it's up to them. And I told him that he has to sell a car, but I don't have to buy one. And here's what that means. If you work in a car dealership, you have to sell cars in order for you to eat, but I don't have to buy the car. So it costs me nothing to walk away from that deal. So when he came back with the 8%, I knew he was playing games at this point. And I said, listen, I'm here. We've got a 750 credit score, 756 credit score, and $10,000 down. I could care less about what you're saying that he has never purchased a car before. We're putting down a significant amount of money on the vehicle, plus he's got a 756 credit score. So I had my son get up and we proceeded to walk out of the dealership. We walked out of the dealership, took 2 steps out of the dealership, and the salesman came running and asked us to come back because maybe they could work something out. We walked back into the dealership, we sat down, and we waited there for about a minute. So from the time that you offered me 22%, it was about 3 to 4 minutes when you came back and they offered 4.6%. Now, I want you to understand something. 4.6% was the offer that you finally gave me, but you tried to get me at 22%. I'm still angry because that is predatory lending. And here's the thing: I am not one to claim racism or claim that something is racist, but we went to this dealership on the north side of Atlanta where I live, and we didn't have the problem. We didn't have the problem. But as soon as we go down to the south side, and I looked around, and in that dealership, all I saw was people that looked like me. I saw customers that looked like me. I saw salespeople that looked like me. And that's where I got offered 22% with a 756 credit score and $10,000 down as a down payment. You can't tell me that that was not predatory lending, and you can't make me believe that my people, African Americans, are always targeted. And I'm dead serious and dead pissed off. And I will be doing a more complete video to put this dealership out there on the internet, because people need to understand and they need to know. But my job to you is to tell you, you've got to get your credit together. You got to make sure that you've got money. You got to understand how finances work. You need to study money. You need to study finances. You need to know how it works, because they're trying to take advantage of us at any level possible. Any level possible. Not just imagine, and this is what I'm imagining and what I've been imagining all weekend long. Imagine the folks that don't have a 756 credit score. Imagine the folks that don't have $10,000 to put down on this car. Imagine what they're doing to them. They just ran into a Negro that had some knowledge. They ran into someone who understood, and they ran into the wrong guy. I'm not going to let it go. I'm not going to let it go. I think that this is a crime shame that you would do something of that nature to someone that's got great credit. There's someone that has a good down payment. But I'm glad that it happened. I'm glad that it happened for my son to see, because he has lived in, we don't live in the urban area. We live in the suburbs. We've always lived in the upper class, or upper, I won't even say upper class, but we've always lived in a mixed neighborhood. I'll leave it that way. So he hasn't experienced that. I haven't experienced it that much, but we experienced it this Saturday. And so I just want to let you guys know that it's important. It's important for you to understand how the numbers work. It's important for you to understand to get your credit together, because even with good credit, they try to take advantage of us. So I'm going to ask in advance that you support the video when I create the video and put it out on this particular dealership. I'm going to ask that you support that and that you spread it around. I'll get that out in the next couple of days, but it's so important to me because I realized that that was predatory lending, or an attempt at predatory lending, with a young man, a young black man, 22 years old. And let me just say this. I'm proud of him because he has saved enough money that he could have bought the car cash. My son has enough money that he could buy the car cash outright. So I'm proud of him for that. I'm also proud that when we got to put the $10,000 down, we had our checkbooks ready, because I gave him 5 and he had 5 of his own. And we asked, can we use our credit cards? Because we get cash back. So we got an income shift. We got an income shift every opportunity that we can. So what he did is he put $6,000 on his credit card because he gets cash back. I put $4,000 on my credit card because I get cash back. And then I gave him $1,000 for his insurance. So I'm really proud of him. At 22 years of age, he's able to do something that most 50-year-olds are not able to do. So keep him lifted up. His name is AJ, and just keep him lifted up because he is doing all the right things that he should be doing. And he is my protege to be a multi-millionaire. So I'm going to be working with him and keep him going because he is doing everything that he should be doing. I just wanted to share that with you guys. Be careful out there when you go to these dealerships. Make sure you take your time, do your homework. We probably could have got an even better deal. Matter of fact, I know we left some money on the table. I know we left some money on the table. I probably could have got a lower interest rate, and I probably could have squeaked some money out a little bit more. But we're happy with where we are. We're happy with what he was able to get. But I'm not happy with the fact that they are practicing predatory lending at that dealership. So this is June Collier signing out. God bless. Y'all take care. We'll chat with you soon.